Hello, welcome to Infinite Prattle. On today's episode, I'll be counting down my Desert Island discs. I have 5 titles, so, well, yeah, let's get into that and see what you think on my picks. Hello, and welcome to Infinite Prattle! Unscripted, unedited prattle on everything. Hosted by me, Stephen. Listen, like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy the show. Hello, how the devil are you? I'm hoping you're okay. Have you been well? I hope you have been. And yeah, let's get into today's episode. I was going through. I've been writing stuff down. I said in the last episode that I'd been writing stuff down, and let me know if you enjoyed the last episode. What was it about now? Oh, about Romulus, wasn't it? Which I haven't seen yet. It came out yesterday. So I need to. I'm arranging with my mate to go and see it. So soon, hopefully. I won't spoil anything though for you when I do go see it. Anyway, so I was going through my list of like possible show ideas, and as normal, I'm pretty well last minute. So I decided I'd written down this one probably for last season, I think it was, and never got around to doing it. So I thought, well, that seems like a good topic for today. So I thought I would count down 5 albums that I couldn't live without if I was stuck on a desert island with only the availability of five albums. You know what Desert Island Discs is, I'm sure. I think they normally do it as 1 album, but I decided 5. You know, I'm greedy. And these were literally the first 5 albums when I was perusing my brain that I thought of, and it was tough. It was tough, but I think I went back to probably stuff from my childhood that I like resonates with me, and stuff I remember like when I was at college, like listening to stuff and like probably what they meant to me and stuff growing up as well. And there's a couple of surprising omissions even for me of the things that came to mind, and I wrote them down. I was like, right, there's the 5, they're locked in, and then I was like, oh no, I forgot about that person I really like. Oh no, I forgot about that person I really like. So yeah, yeah. Well, let's get into it. So the first one I thought of, and I'm sure it'd be quite a lot of people's lists as well, was "Bad Out of Hell" by Meatloaf, Jim Steinman. I mean, this album's iconic, isn't it? Released in 1977, so well before I was born. Well, 6 years before I was born, so that's not actually that far from when I was born, isn't it? That's scary. So yeah, came out in 1977, and it's broke records. Like, you know, it was in the charts, I think, for like a record breaking amount of consecutive weeks in the UK charts, at least anyway. I haven't got that fact to actually tell you what it is, but if you Google it, you'll be surprised. I think it was technically consistently in the charts for, I think it was like 5 years or something, or 6 years. It was ridiculous, basically. And yeah, it's brilliant. I've listened to that album so many times. It's a go-to good feel-good album. And I think the reason, like many good albums, I think, one, it's an absolutely belting rock album. There's not many tracks on it though. It's quite a small album for like an album, as you would compare today. There is literally like I think 7 songs on the album, which is quite shocking when you think about like a lot of albums nowadays like have at least 10 songs, 12, sometimes 14, sometimes 15, and I'm pretty sure there's only 7 on that. I'm just double checking now. I've got the page open. So yeah, so you got "Bad Out of Hell," "Till the Words Are Out of My Mouth," "Heaven Can Wait," "All Revved Up, No Place to Go," "Two Out of Three Ain't Bad," "Paradise by the Dashboard Light," which is like kind of 3 separate songs really, and then "For Crying Out Loud." And I think the brilliance of this album is the short songs but the long songs, and they're so diverse. Like "Bad Out of Hell," nearly a 10-minute behemoth of a song. I mean, what better? It's a rock song to end all rock songs. It's just amazing. And "You Took the Words Out of My Mouth" is like kind of a love song, but the intro to that song is hilarious. If you ever heard the album, there's an intro, and it's Meatloaf saying, "On a hot summer's night, would you offer your throat to the wolf with the red roses?" And this girl's very breathy, yes. And then he goes, would you offer him your hunger? Would you offer him? Can't remember all the bits. And then she says yes, and he goes again. Would you offer me your hunger or your throat or something like that? And she goes yes. She goes, would you starve without him? And then he says, I bet you say that to all the boys. And I think when I was a kid, I didn't really like listen to it or get it properly as like a young child. But when I became a teenager and listened to it, partly my brain had like cut that bit out. I don't think I ever really paid attention to it, just the music. But as a teenager, definitely appreciate the sentiment of that. And it's just an album all around. Like what you want from an album is like you want the good, you want them good rock songs, or you want them good feel good songs, upbeat songs, and we all like a good love song. And this one, like for crying out loud, and 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad, just epic songs. I mean, for crying out loud is again another epic rock symphony, like beautiful. Like Jim Steinman. I mean, they're both dead unfortunately now. Jim Steinman, like what a musician to come up with these songs. And Paradise by the Dashboard Light is just an absolute kind of lesson in how to write such a mammoth track that has so many different, unique, diverse parts, and very theatrical as well. Like, I don't know if you ever saw Meatloaf live; he was a very theatrical guy. So yeah, so my first one, Bad Out of Hell, yes. Second one is an artist that's still going, and this is one I discovered when I was in college, and it's an artist called Ryan Adams, Ryan, not Brian, Ryan, and it's the album Gold, which was released in 2001. And again, very similar to like the Meatloaf album. Just such a brilliant, diverse album. And that got me. That was the first time I bought an album by Ryan Adams, and I went back and listened to the first album that he released, which is called Heartbreaker, and that blew my mind as well. So very, very, very basic album compared to Gold. Gold is a very produced rock, folky, country. Yeah, there's a bit of everything in there, bluesy kind of album. And the first one is very much based in like kind of roots of like country and very, very basic, and kind of I believe Elton John was inspired, but from which album was it? I can't remember what album it was. Black and White. It's got I Want Love on it, and he was inspired to basically be a bit more simple on that album, inspired by Ryan Adams' Heartbreaker, and Elton John actually did a cover of My Sweet Carolina, on tour, and brilliant. And Elton John hasn't made this list. Spoiler: I love Elton John, and he's not made this list. And because I kind of chose the 5 albums, and then was like, that's it. And I was like, oh my god, Elton John, bloody Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Yeah, but didn't make the list. But yeah, I mean, this album, this is again like Bad Out of Hell, like 7 tracks. This has 16, and again, the brilliant. I mean, New York title track, Firecracker, Answering Bell, That's the End of Just Smiled, Rescue Blues is amazing. It was used at the end of Behind Enemy Lines. That was the song that plays the film out. Yeah, they're just all brilliant. Tina Toledo's Streetwalking Blues, Touch Feel Lose. I mean, all really good rock, bluesy songs. But like Last End just smiled very, very basic, very like chilled. Oh, just amazing. The Rescue Blues, and then When the Stars Go Blues on here as well, isn't it? Is When the Stars Go Blue? Is that yeah, track 7, When the Stars Go Blue. Really beautiful tune. Listen to some of them sad songs when I was sad about girls, and yeah, that's just gotta be done. And another band I discovered when I was at college was Counting Crows, and August and Everything After is my third pick. Contains a really famous song from them, called Mr. Jones, and that's probably the one that everyone probably recalls. Released in 1993, again in September 1993. Like that Ryan Adams one was in September 2001. So, brilliant. But the first album I got by Counting Crows was again, I think it was released in 2001, which was Hard Candy, and then again went back and bought the back catalogue, which included August and Everything After. Oh God, what's the other album called? I can't remember. Oh my god, that's gonna annoy me so much. I can see the album cover, which is really, really annoying. Anyway, they've got a few albums prior to that, a few albums since August and everything after. Probably my favorite album, Hard Candy, does have a soft spot for me just because the first album I bought by them. But yeah, amazing band. I've seen them a few times live, and I don't know how to pronounce his name actually. I probably should know now, but Adam Duritz, Adam Duritz. I don't know, but amazing voice, brilliant musicianal band as well. But Adam's voice when he's live, he sings the songs in a style when he's live, so it sounds very much like the songs that he's singing. So my watch keeps going off. I need to put my stuff in airplane mode when I do this podcast. I'm sorry, but it wouldn't be me without doing that, would it? So there you go. Anyway, yeah. I what was I saying? Oh yeah. Um, he sings the songs brilliantly, but he puts his own twist when it's live. So ad libs a bit, like changes like the melodies a bit, and they're always like slightly different musically arranged, and it's just so refreshing. But not to the point you think that's not the song on the album. It's just like, oh my god, that's just like a new take on it, and it's just so good to my ears. And some great songs on it. But again, an album that contains songs that are very much like slow, slow songs. There's love songs. Um, there's like songs that are really reflective, and one of my favorite songs ever, just for the build up, and Adam's voice in it is "A Murder of One," which is the final track on the song, and on the album, it's just amazing. And the start and the finish songs, I think, for me, are like two of the best songs on the album, and they bookmark just a strong album throughout, to be honest. But Round Here starts the album, and I remember seeing them live once in Manchester in England, and they started with Round Here, and it was just the most magical. I don't know. I think because it was the first time I'd ever seen them, and it was just amazing. It was just amazing. I think they started with that song. In my brain, they started with that song anyway. And yeah, Rain King is an amazing song as well. So yeah, cracking album. And go and listen to these albums if you've never listened to these albums. Like I think probably most people have probably know about Bad Out of Hell, and I'm sure people have listened to Bad Out of Hell. But yeah, if you don't know like about Counting Crows, go and listen to them. Especially if you're into stuff like, I don't know, what would you be into to listen to them? Like Train, maybe. If you're into Ryan Adams, you probably like Counting Crows and vice versa. If you like the Goo Goo Dolls, or yeah, and if you just like good friggin' well written songs with I don't know, that just make you emote. They're just good strong songs. So there's number 3. So I've got Bad Out of Hell, Meatloaf, Gold by Ryan Adams, and I've got August and Everything After by Counting Crows. Lovely. And someone else I didn't put on the list was Prince, and I bloody love Prince. And again, I did think about Prince when I was doing the list, but I actually really kind of omitted him. I suppose kind of like I would have been like with Elton John if I'd ever even brought him to mind. Is which album would you put on of Prince's? Because Purple Rain's kind of a too obvious one. It's the first one I kind of bought of his as well, but it's a bit too obvious. But I didn't. He didn't make the list, so let's stop talking about Prince. But oh my god, Prince! Could I live that on a desert island? Oh, I suppose his songs would live on my brain. I don't know. I can't exchange any. I've made the list. I can't exchange any. I got to keep them the same. I got to keep them the same. I got to be true. Got to be true to myself. So the fourth on the list is by, and I'm not going to talk about his personal life because I think for me that's a separate issue, and I think you can still like an artist and music because musically it's different when stuff comes out in their personal life. So my fourth pick, you may have guessed, is Michael Jackson, and I've chose a bit of a cheat album actually because and it's partly for two reasons. One, because means I get more music, and it is technically an album, so you can't moan too much. And the second reason is it was one of the first albums I got of his for my own, because like my brother had some of his albums, and my mum and dad had some of his albums. So it was the first album that was like solely mine, and that was History, Past, Present, and Future. Book 1 is the full title of the album, and this came out in like late 90s, I think it was, and sold a ridiculous amount, like 20 odd million copies, and yeah, yeah, just a great album. So it's the 2 CDs. Oh, it came out in 1995. There you go. So they are. So it's 2 CDs. So the first CD, obviously, it's called Past, Present, and Future. So 2 CDs were, the first CD basically had his hits on. It was like a hit album from his whole kind of, um, from his whole career, really, up to, like, through, I think mine, it was all his solo career, let's say, because it didn't have any Jackson 5 on. So the first CD was like Billie Jean, Black and White, Rock With You, Bad, Man in the Mirror, Thriller. You can name an album of his. There was probably the hit off that album. Also had They Don't Care About Us, Stranger in Moscow, Earth Song, and it had some. So yeah, so there was all the old stuff was on like was on like Dangerous albums and all that, and then the new stuff was like They Don't Care About Us this time around. Earth Song was on the album. DS, Money, Come Together was a cover. You're Not Alone, and then there was some other songs that were like Smile, which Smile is a song that was written by or co-written by Charlie Chaplin. And Michael Jackson was a massive Charlie Chaplin fan, and Smile is just such a beautiful, beautiful song, and yeah, it was just an absolutely stunning song, and he sings it so well and with so much passion. And then there was a song called Little Susie on it as well, and History is all like sound clips and Tabloid Junkies sound clips as well. So a lot of personal stuff went into this album, I feel. And one of the songs as well on the album was a song called Childhood. Have You Seen My Childhood? And I think it was used in the film Free Willy, and it's so emotional. He's basically saying in the song, like, before you judge me, before you judge my character and how I am and all this, like, take a look at my childhood. Like, I didn't have a childhood. And it's a very deep, personal song. And he basically cries while he's singing it. And it's absolutely beautiful. I'll mention another song that is beautiful and always makes me cry. Is Gone Too Soon from the Dangerous album. That didn't make this album, but yeah. And for me, I know it's a bit of a cheat. There's 2 CDs. There's like a hit CD, and then there's the current stuff and like covers and stuff like that. But for me, absolutely brilliant album. And it was like the first Michael Jackson album I had. And they were gold CDs, which always made me. They were like laser etched with Michael Jackson's outline on and stuff. It was cool. So I kind of like had my cake in it. I ate it with that album, and I got it for Christmas. If it came out in 1995, that's the Christmas I got it. And I played that CD so much. And Michael Jackson's such an icon, and all the news stories aside, like I would have to have some Michael Jackson with me just for his diverse collection and absolutely astounding musical production on his songs. So that's number 4. And number 5 is a lady, because there's no ladies on the list so far. So this is like the first lady and only lady on the list, and that is Alanis Morissette with the song Jagged Little Pill. Not the song Jagged Little Pill, the album Jagged Little Pill. Firstly, cracking album name, Jagged Little Pill. What a cracking name. And again, another astounding album with like diverse songs from like All I Really Want, like quite angsty song, to You Learn, which is quite soft, to ironic, to You Ought to Know, to Right Through You, to Wake Up, to Perfect, which is just beautiful. And this album was played a lot while I was at college. When it came out again in 1995, but I didn't really discover it until I think my brother bought it a couple of years later. And then when I went to college, I bought it myself because I wanted to own it. He'd buggered off to uni, so couldn't nick any of his CDs. But Alanis Morissette, and she was an artist I always wanted to see live and never had. And she toured a couple of years ago in the UK, and I was so happy to get to see her in person in a concert. I mean, if I could travel back in time to see her on this album tour, that would have been the thing to do. But to travel to we travelled to Birmingham and watched her. I think it was like 2 years ago, and it was just astounding. She was fucking brilliant. And yeah, that'd be my fifth. So they're my five. They're my five. They're my five albums. They are the five. And I'm not counting bonus tracks. I mean, some of them have bonus tracks on. Do they come with the album? If you took the album with you, I suppose they do, don't they? So yeah, some of them have bonus tracks. So bonus. Bonus. Where did that come from? Yeah. So, what would your 5 desert island discs be? What would your one be? What if I could narrow it down to one out of that list? Oh, I don't know if I could, because I'd literally want 10, to be honest. Like, I knew I couldn't get down to one, so I cheated and basically said I'll take 5. Missing out some like, there's no Bruce Springsteen at last, no Billy Joel. Oh, so many artists that I like. No Iron Maiden, massive Iron Maiden fan. There's no musical scores on that sound on there. I mean, I love John Williams. I love Michael well, I never remember how to pronounce his name. It's terrible, isn't it? Goldsmith, Horner. I'll what's it called? Fucking hell, he did like the Back to the Future soundtrack. My brain's gone blank. I can't think of his name. Alan Silvestri, is it? Yeah, that's right. I was listening to him literally yesterday, and I can't remember. Terrible. Yeah, so there's no musical scores on this neither. Like, and I do like a musical score and a bit of classical. So, the thing is, that makes you choose, doesn't it? Otherwise, I'd have like 100 CDs with me. Anyway, what would yours be? Let me know. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know in the comments. Support me just by listening is great, but if you want to do something further, just click the like button. Really helps out. I love you all. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, I'll speak to you soon. You've been listening to Infinite Prattle! Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, go back and listen to some others. And please continue to listening. Your support is muchly appreciated. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.